The second education program we started was Transforming Our Future, which is about, it's a 2-day workshop for community organizations who are dealing with the clients on a one-by-one basis and yet identify or can see patterns that develop and helping them identify when those patterns are actually systemic discrimination experiences that have equality rights remedies in our law. It's a very participatory program, and it helps them actually look at different legal strategies and design a strategy around particular issues. What West Coast Leaf's idea is that all the work we do is education, and litigation is simply educating judges. One of the things that was an issue when West Coast Leaf started was the whole issue of women's economic equality. Poverty remains probably the major issue for women, and vulnerability to poverty, as well as violence against women, continues, of course, to be a serious issue. When changes happened here in BC around the welfare changes, cuts to family law, legal aid, a variety of cuts to services, cuts to childcare subsidies, etc., we decided that we were going to change the direction and actually get involved in cases that were starting from the ground up as opposed to intervening in cases before the courts. The Single Moms Human Rights Project is file a series of human rights complaints against the provincial government for the claiming that the new BC Benefits Act, which in fact is against women, but single mothers in particular. And that case, really what we're hoping to do is have sort of a group of single mums actually file complaints, and West Coast Leaf would file a public interest complaint.
Poverty, brutality towards women, battery, health care, a lack of opportunity, women immigrants not getting language training, not having jobs. Those issues were as current then, 20 years ago, as they were today.
In preparing for the conference and in preparing for some of our 20th anniversary celebrations and having had the opportunity to talk to women who were involved with the organization from the beginning, it's really opened my eyes to how far we've really come. I mean, it's amazing to me that it's just 20 years ago that, a woman couldn't get a bank loan without the permission of her husband, or the whole issue of maternity benefits and women having to declare, on their job application, if they planned to have children anytime soon.
There was a point when I felt like we were struggling to hold on to what we had as opposed to advancing rights for women. And I would hate for us to take for granted what we have accomplished and what we have.
Shockingly, women still don't get equal pay for work of equal value, and I can't figure out how that could be 20 years later, but there you have it.
I think we are moving forward. I have to cling to that, the hope.
It is because of organizations like West Coast Leaf that we were there to push the envelope and say, this is not okay.
We must have a group whose job is to watch out for our rights, to make sure they don't slip backwards, and to keep pushing the borders just a little further so they will include more women until every woman is included in this.
I'd love to see Leaf become, a really strong, provincially based, dynamic organization that is a leader in litigation, law reform, public legal education, where policymakers look to us to give advice on legislation and issues that impact women, where women in the community look to us to bring their issues to if it needs resolution.
And I see a real need for young people to come into the organization as well. And there's time for a new generation to come in, re-energize, refocus, and make sure that the work is attuned to the needs of the community. West Coast Leaf taught me to work in partnership with community, with other individuals, It taught me a huge amount about diversity.
We learned a lot about the law and about women's equality and about our country and about operating an organization.
When I think about West Coast Leaf, what do I think of in particular? Well, I think of energy and initiative and passion and commitment.
It's a strong organization. It has more support in the community. It's respected, in the legal community, among the judiciary, among community organizations.
I found that one of the most exciting things about being on the West Coast Leaf Board was to have a table full of women who had very unique and different experiences and weren't afraid to express them, and how you could throw all that together and come up with a better solution, a better mousetrap, a better way of doing things than if you had all come in with the same opinion or values or perspective.
These brilliant minds come together and they think of solutions, to get the women's agenda or the women's perspective on the table. Use this case as a tool to improve the lot of all women. But that's an incredible thing to do because the impact is not just in the now, it's for generations to come.
And I was always so glad at the end of a hard day of litigation, of duking it out with aggressive male lawyers who had way too much testosterone going in their bodies. I was always so relieved to walk into a meeting of West Coast Leaf because it was a group of like-minded women. All of us needed a good hug. All of us needed a good laugh at the end of the day. All of us needed to share our experiences.
I'm just intensely proud of everything that Leaf has achieved and that we achieved working together.
As long as I know that there are women like those who are part of West Coast Leaf around, I feel like, we will achieve equality one day.